Mitsubishi Motors, proud major partner of the NBL.
Fans, we love babysitting your local club the opportunity to win one of five $1,000 community grants. Scan the QR code for more information.
Stay on top of your game and Harvey on with the latest tech from Canada. Shoot and score with new leads across our camera. Available in-store and online. Now at Harvey on, official retailer to the Sydney Kings.
Absolutely. And look, we are already looking at $5,940 and 3 points made in the Flames game. Do you think we're going to see that match in this one, Queen?
100%. I think the Flames girls did a fantastic job here, please. You know, our Kings boys did a big ball please there. We were able to get $100,000 total value so far, I would say, across all donations and things like that. Really set a record there for that.
And that $100,000, that's just going towards, mapping cancer. This is going towards breast care nurses and supporting everyone who has a cancer diagnosis to get a cancer care nurse. What does that mean? How does that make you feel knowing that you're supporting the foundation?
It's an incredible thing. I mean, just to see so many people out here, to see all this work that the Love Foundation does.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Here we go with Sydney and Tasmania. Both teams desperately trying to secure their place in the playoffs, or worst case, in the play-in tournament. When it comes to the Kings, if they're behind at three-quarter time, never fear. They are so good late in these games. Jalen Adams, we know how dominant he can be, the former MVP, and Xavier Cooks is back to some of his best form. So if the Kings are struggling in the last quarter, never fear. Make sure you check out Sportsbet's feed as well. I'll have a nice bet for you in this game. Plenty more across the NBA, the NFL, and more.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Sean Bruce tried to bank three. Liafa gets it back. The 25. Oh! Drops the tray.
Tassie ball. Majuk, dang. Oh, goes around and out. Doyle. Milton Doyle tips it home.
2-on-1. Adams and Tui sits it up. Oh! And the next star stuffs two.
Steps back, works. Gets into the paint, draws the foul. Can he get the and one? It's that time of the night for Jordan Crawford.
Yes.
Cam Oliver knows how to throw him down.
It's all sunshine in Sydney. The Kings taking on the JackJumpers in a sold-out Kudos Bank Arena. 17,000 pack in the house for what is high-stakes hoops. Are you making the top four? Are you falling out of the play-in altogether? It is all on the line. as we get to the pointy end of the season. MVPs all around. Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze, welcome in. They are packing the house out tonight, all for a great cause. But I'll tell you what, this is one of the best atmospheres in the NBL.
Oh, it certainly is, and you're undersold it, Felix, close to 18,000 in the building. So it's an incredible atmosphere that's been created here in a game which, if you had said a week ago that the JackJumpers were going to draw 18,000, you would have been thinking twice, because they've had some horrific run of luck. Majuk Deng out for the remainder of the season. That is huge. So their backs against the wall here tonight. They are in a full battle to make the play-ins. But if any team over the last couple of seasons is equipped for a back-to-the-wall game, it's the Tasmanian JackJumpers.
Well, that is true. And Sydney Kings fans, they've been waiting for a long time for a comprehensive wire-to-wire victory by their team. Can they get it tonight? The setting is there. Let's see how they respond. But look at that ladder. It's so tight. It's vital, as you mentioned before, Felix, for each team. The Kings want to get in the top two, and Tasmania hanging on for dear life.
Hey, well, the best thing that's happened to Tasmania is that Adelaide and Brisbane, they're starting to struggle as well. So that race, who's going to hold on to that final spot? But Gazy, Tassie's run home, it ain't pretty.
No, it's not. And there's really no easy run. Of course, you've got a couple of teams like Cairns and Brisbane. You look what Cairns have done recently. They are super tough. So there is not a gimme on that run home at all. And it starts today. You get a big road win in front of 18,000. One of those ones that no one's expecting you to do. That can inject a huge amount of confidence.
And Sydney have 5 left, including today against the JackJumpers. I think the Kings need to win 4 of those to have a chance to be in the top 2. I know it's tough. The league is tough, Andrew. Have you not been paying attention?
Both of these teams are at the caliber that it is championship or bust most years. But player awards, they always add a bit of spice to the pointy end of the season. And the 6th Man of the Year award, Kwatnoi, he's come off the bench every single game. Jordan Crawford, well, he's trying to snipe him. He's only come off for 10, but he's still within reach of the award.
Hey, 2 excellent candidates, both doing tremendous things for their teams. But Kwatnoi has the lead, in my opinion. He comes off that Sydney Kings bench. He knows the assignment. He gets the memo every game. And the instructions are to go out and get buckets. I'm not sure who's better in the league at doing it. And not only at a volume, Andrew, but he gets it at a really good percentage. His shooting clips are elite. He provides spirit and great energy for Brian Gorgon.
And he hits big buckets, but you look at Jordan Crawford, and I actually tend to agree with you, because Jordan Crawford, he started almost half, 13 games.
Correct.
He started shooting at 40%, low 30s from 3. He's a superstar and doing some great things coming off the bench. But I think Kwatnoi, based on a very solid argument put by Derek Rucker, is going to get the award.
Certainly will, and Jordan Crawford's going to be our Harvey Norman mic'd up player all throughout the game. But Brad Rosen, there's plenty on the line for the teams. There's also a lot more to do with this game.
It is, and thank you and good afternoon to everyone. It's the 3rd Ping Hoops Day that is coming around to support the McGrath Foundation. And not only are they supporting breast cancer, they're supporting all cancers. As a son of a father that is going through breast cancer at the moment, my dad is fighting this illness. I'm so happy to say there's foundations like this that support it. You should see a QR code on your screen. These 17,000 people are in here at the moment. They're loving life, and they're going to support it as well. Matty Russell, we throw to you in what will be a very emotional and fantastic game.
Well said, Brad. Looking a picture as well in the pink men's club blazer. The team in pink. Let's look at their starting 5. In come Cam Oliver, his 7th start of the season, and Sean Bruce, his 8th start of the season. Ball qual Isaiah Liafa to come off the bench. Xavier Cook's the only King to start every game this season. Milton Doyle, likewise for the JackJumpers, the only man there to start every game in today. Clint Steindl starts, Nick Stoddart back to the bench. The scene is set. It's 5th against 6th, a game with big playoff ramifications. The Kings against the undermanned but never overawed JackJumpers. Down 3 significant pieces, but back from New Zealand and in Sydney, ready to cause an upset. They win the tip, and Chris Levick, his undersized centre, as he described himself because of the injuries at the JackJumpers. Drimmick, well, he was looking for Ruben Tarangi, who was in an arm lock with Jalen Adams. and they come away empty after a mix-up.
I don't think he was looking for him. That was a good block and close out by Xavier Cooks. And both these teams are two of the better, statistically anyway, defensive teams in competition. And Derek, the eye test to me says that the Sydney Kings are good defensively, but the stats say that they are uber elite.
That's correct, but sometimes they have really bad patches in games, especially in first halves, as Kruzovic throws that one away, where they bleed points early. Let's see if they can get out to a good start here, and that will start with good offensive execution.
Xavier Cooks going to work on Krizlovic. Here's Cam Oliver off a fine game against Cairns. A double-double, including that career-high 17 rebounds. But we're yet to have a score here. And just back to your defensive statement there, Andrew. Sydney ranked first in the league for points allowed per possession. JackJumpers second.
Yeah.
The top two defensive teams in that regard. Points allowed per possession. Throw in the fact that the Kings come up with the most steals and most blocks per game. The defensive clamps might well be on in this contest. Tarangi stopped by Bruce, who fouled in the eyes of the referees. Today, in control of this game, we've got Vaughan Mabry, James Boyer, Alex McEwen, the latter calling the first foul.
Well, Andrew, I'm keeping an eye on Tasmania and how they attack the offensive glass. Sydney don't rebound the ball very well on the defensive end, so it might be an area where Tasmania can fix up the scoreboard and get some loose points.
Steindl with that arc run to get a shot, but a miss, and the rebound falls for Oliver Druid.
Well, basically, that's right. And basically what we've seen the first couple of possessions is that the JackJumpers are going to slow the tempo down. They're waiting in that last 6 seconds before they're aggressively looking for the shot. And I like the strategy if you're JackJumpers. You don't want to make this a track meet.
Oliver opens the scoring with a celebration for this huge crowd of 18,000. Everyone is colour coordinated. The team in pink, the stands, all three tiers or all four tiers open today. Big crowd, a lot of noise, especially if the Kings get out in front. Milton Doyle, he'd love to see the shots start dropping, and there's a nice one first up.
He's had a rough shooting season, but at times we know that he can go off. He's a streaky player, but I just like to see him try and make plays 2 out of every 3 Tasmanian possessions.
Against Sydney this season, he's 5 of 24, Milton Doyle. A turnover by the Kings, so do they go back to Doyle here?
Well, Drew, how are they going to score?
Here, they do it.
Make a play.
No, that's true. And like you say, the numbers for Doyle this season, I think they've got to collectively get little bits and pieces out of a lot. Steindl coming in, he needs to knock down a couple. Drimmick's been good the last month or so. He can help, and Tarangi is another one. Just throwing it all on Doyle. The numbers this season suggest that that's not going to happen.
But it's about creating opportunities for your teammates, and those guys are all secondary players, Andrew. Milton Doyle is brought here to be a primary scorer and playmaker.
That's true. The numbers said it's probably not working out that way.
He's played in the NBA. He's won a championship with the JackJumpers last season, so early fouls on Adams and Bruce for the Kings. Can Milton Doyle live up to Derek's expectations? Can Jalen Adams deliver on your expectations? What do you hope for from Jalen today?
Well, get back to that form he was in post-FIBA break, and then last week he was a bit quiet. He wasn't bad in that tough battle over Cairns. He got fouled.
Adams retrieves the rebound, goes to Oliver. Bank Arena falls silent in anticipation. Alex Tui invites them to make some noise, but comes up with a miss. So we know that they're on demand, Tasmania. No Deng, no McDonald, no Magnay. Those three combined average 36 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists per game. It's a big hole for the JackJumpers to fill with those three missing.
It is, but we've seen them, as Drimmick lets one fly, we've seen them be in holes and work their way out of it on numerous occasions on bigger stages.
Yeah, absolutely, and they come up strategically with ways to find it, and that's why Scott Roth has had so much success, the coaching genius, and what he's been able to implement, get the best out of his players. And They've had 5 field goal attempts. All 5 of them have been 3-pointers. They're 1 of 5, and that time there they had a play. They get to the free throw line for the first time in the afternoon, but just blazing away from the 3-point line. And I think they've had to do that because of the defense. So far, Sydney Kings have really forced them on the perimeter.
Well, Brad Rosen, we've seen Kwat-Noi come on for Cam Oliver.
Yeah, just wanted to ask the boys, look, we've all been saying that his name is engraved in the Best Six-Man Award and he's been playing unbelievable basketball. My question to you, is he the most improved in the league as well?
Well, he's been good. He's had some very good seasons. He's coming from a pretty high base. You usually need to see someone to really... Now, he has been good, but need someone to really jump out of the...
I think the most improved is probably going to go to Taron Armstrong.
Good call, Derek. You're in form.
Big in the last couple of games is Doyle.
That's what I'm talking about,
finish.
Sorry, Matty. You got to be aggressive. You got nothing to lose out here.
Well, he has. He's come out really aggressive on the offensive end. He's already had 3 field goal attempts.
Jalen Adams goes back at the JackJumpers and Doyle gets the rebound. As I mentioned earlier, a couple of quiet games against the Kings as he lighted up in their 3rd meeting of Hungry Jack's NBL25. Ruben Tarangi, Drew McNair. Doyle, despite the arm of Xavier Cooks, he comes away with a miss.
He's got your message, Derek, the way Milton Doyle's gone about it. And I think Scott Roth would have given him a tap on the shoulder and said, do your thing tonight. We're going to rely on you a lot to score.
That was an absolutely wicked crossover. Look at that. And Cooks does a good job to get his hands in. Doyle just loses his balance as he was about to elevate. But Tasmania off to a good start. They've done a really good job in limiting Sydney to only 6 points.
Well, nearly 6 minutes gone, and it's the sort of game we expected scanning the stats pre-contest. It's tough to come by, but not for Krizlovic right there. Krizlovic, a big assignment today against Cooks, against Oliver, his former Taipans teammate. And here he is running the 4. Fabian Krizlovic goes all the way.
And that's what they got to do. They got to pick their time to run in transition, test the transition D of the Kings, try and find cheap baskets whilst not letting the tempo get out of control.
JackJumpers ball with Oliver putting the foot out of play.
Look at this Amy replay. Krizlovic does a really good job keeping Oliver on his hip, and then no further resistance.
Coast to coast.
Jordan Crawford into the contest along with Gorjok Gak. Steindl and Krizlovic getting a breather. Ian Hummer out there as well. So changes made by Scott Roth, and the JackJumpers throw it away.
And again, the aggression is right. The decision-making, a little bit more patience. I feel like he could have gotten to the backboard or tried to draw some contact, but his intent is right.
And this situation here is perfect for Scott Roth. They only have given up 6 points in 6.5 minutes. Is exactly what he would have been hoping for.
Kings 14-10, 6-5 at home. They've won 3 of their last 4, most recently against the Taipans in a tight one. Sean Bruce, as the shot clock goes to single figures. Bruce spots an opening. Gak is beaten by Bruce.
Well, Matty, we've worked almost all of the Kings' home games, and they're always filled with drama. They've been really tight games. Sydney unable to really put the hammer down on visitors into Kudos Bank Arena this season.
Doyle for Crawford. We'll come back to that. Shot clock to 4. Stoddart will have to shoot the ball and does, but misses. Oliver the rebound. Did you come here, Derek, thinking in the back of your mind against this undermanned JackJumpers that this would be a game where Kawatnui and the Kings could get out to a lead and be in front from wire to wire?
Well, the normal flow of basketball and the ups and downs of the NBL, you just figure that Sydney is due for a big win at home. But then you look at the opponent, Andrew, and you realize it's the Tasmanian JackJumpers, and it's very difficult to blow this team out. And they look focused today. Scott Roth will always have them game planned properly, and it seems to be the case now.
It is, and they've had a rough week. Last Sunday we called that game in Tasmania, and Perth, they got hold of them, playing that breakneck speed, and I thought that they got the tempo wrong in that first quarter against the Perth Wildcats, and there's been a noticeable change here in the way they've gone about it on the offensive end.
Stoddart finds Crawford, the jumper, rims away. Oliver, another rebound. Now Bruce dispatching with Stoddart. Noi gets a good look, but can't finish.
Good push by the Sydney Kings there to create that open look by Noi.
Losing the ball baseline, Sydney ball. A minute 50 to go in the first, and both teams have scored only 11 points.
And Gack is a player, Andrew, that shows promise at times. Been plagued by health complaints throughout his career. But in a game like today where he has length and athleticism against a small Sydney Kings lineup, he should be able to have an impact.
Noi. They'll go to the line for two. Again, it's Nick Stoddart in the driver's sights. Now, Nick Stoddart, 24 years of age, playing the 6th game of his NBL career, Derek. He's from Brisbane, played with the Capitals in NBL 1, and then more recently, the Ballarat Miners in their grand final team in NBL 1 South. 15 points per game, 3 assists. Did he cross your radar in Brisbane?
Yeah, I've come across Nick Stoddart when he was a much younger player as Noi knocks down the first, and worked with him a few times. He's always been highly talented, good on both hands. Obviously, he's a left-hander, which always makes things a little bit more difficult on your defender. But he's shown some ability, Andrew.
Yeah, I coached against him in the NBL 1 last season when I was when I still am with the Melbourne Tigers, and yeah, he's very aggressive, can get to the rim. This 3-ball is something that he just needs to get a little bit more consistent at. He can make them, and you've got to respect them, but that's got to become automatic for him. So he's been given a fantastic opportunity here as he checks out of the game.
Is he playing the point in NBL 1?
They all spend a little bit these days. You don't have your traditional point. It's like 5-man appointment these days. But yeah, he handles the ball. The ball's in his hands quite a bit.
Isaiah Le'afa.
He's been a mystery this season, Isaiah Le'afa. We know what he's capable of, and hit a big shot against Melbourne United, but hasn't quite had the consistency that I think the Kings would have liked. I like the no call.
I like it too, and they should hit him with a flop warning as well.
I think he signaled that.
They're going to talk about it, and there's the foul. Because he flopped, then he gets called for the tripping or the blocking action.
The fake or flop warning.
Now, it's a hard one because there definitely is contact, and Gack is moving forward, but there is no doubt there is an exaggeration of that contact.
Go back, please. Go back.
Well, Mabry comes in like the principal's been called in to help out some of the students and put him back in his box.
And Brian Gorgian, playing the psychological game, just eases his way back towards half court where he was just instructed to go away from.
He didn't like the flat warning. He didn't like it.
Well, I must say, just because the defender falls over every time and doesn't draw the offensive foul, it doesn't mean it's a flop.
I agree.
Game 828. Paul Mabry sending Brian Gorgian back to his box. As Crawford brings the JackJumpers down court. Doyle, who shows some good moves but can't finish. And Noi uses his height to grab the rebounds. 16-13, final minute of the first quarter in the Harbour City. Bruce with the miss.
Just an amazing crowd we've got here at Kudos Bank Arena.
Beautiful.
And hopefully they get a tick over 18. Apparently can hold 18 and a half. So for all intents and purposes, it's near enough to a sellout that you'll ever want to see. And what a spectacular venue. This is the closest thing you get to an NBA venue. It's got a real vibe about it. They do the in-game music and entertainment. The best in the competition is right here at the Sydney Kings. You can hear the squeaking of the runners. You still get the music to pump it up, but it's not just entire game of Doof Doof or Jimmy Barnes banging out.
I hear you. And Sean Bruce let one go from deep and drew for a parochial victorian. Those are tremendous words that I'm sure all Sydney-siders are shocked to hear.
What are you talking about? Coached here for 3 years.
Ball shot back.
In case you forgot.
He's an honorary citizen of Harbour City.
These are my people, Derek.
He's got I Love the Emerald City as a badge for the jacket. Andrew Gaze, Derek Rucker, Brad Rose and Matt Russell with you in commentary. The first quarter is done. It is low scoring as anticipated. Kings 16, JackJumpers 15.
Basketball experience. Sign up today and join the action. Register now to secure your spot.
All right, that is the first quarter for the Pink Hoops, and we have already raised $8,625 of three-pointers alone. Now make sure you're scanning the QR code because you can pledge your very own three-pointer pledge for every Flames and Kings shot that goes through that bucket beyond the arc. Very exciting to get involved in that one. And right now, I have one of Jane McGrath's friends and ambassador for the McGrath Foundation, Tracy Bevan, with me. Tracy, what does it mean for the families and people going through cancer today to have an event like this?
Well, what started off with Tiana being diagnosed with breast cancer and an expert care from her nurse, Peter. Pink came to basketball, and with 1 in 2 people being diagnosed with cancer, it's great to see the support because we need more than ever.
Absolutely. And what can we expect from these breast care nurses? What type of work are they doing?
So they bring clinical, psychological, and emotional support, not just to the patient, but to the whole family.
Incredible. And what's the best part of an event like this where we're all united in pink?
Well, obviously it's about having fun, but it's about caring for people being diagnosed with cancer. 1 in 2 people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, so we need as much support as we can to bring that free care from our McGrath Cancer Care nurses.
And we love you in pink, head to toe, looking fabulous. And I love what you're wearing out there.
One more. Big shot, Drew. Athlete. He's open. Knock down. Good shot, Clint. Good job, fam.
Well, welcome back to Sunday Hoops, and how good is it to have Jordan Crawford with the Harvey Norman in the zone. In that quarter timeout, I just listened to Coach Roth, and they could not be happier with the way that position they're in at the moment. More so happy with the 16 points that the Kings have got. And boys, I throw it to you. That's just not a quarter the Kings wanted to start with. They really wanted to come out here and stamp their authority. But Tasmania, we know it, they don't go away.
Brad Rosen, courtside, thank you. No, Sydney do not want to be sucked into the sort of game the JackJumpers want to play.
Well, they've got to make shots, and they only shot it at 33%, 5 of 15, 3 of 9 from the three-point line. And as we saw with the Wildcats last Sunday. You come down, you start knocking some, and it does test the JackJumpers' ability to control the tempo. But so far, if you'd be super happy, albeit they trail by 2 now, if you're the JackJumpers, because of the pace of play and the scoreline. They're not going to win this game if it gets up into the 90s and the 100s, I don't think, Derek. They just don't have the firepower of the Sydney Kings, but they can be right into it in the 70s and 80s, and I'm sure that'd be their target.
Well, they got to keep the turnovers down. The 4 turnovers in the first quarter cost them. Outscored 7-0 on points off turnovers as Hummer goes to work, draws the foul from Cooks.
After we saw Quatnoy make back-to-back free throws to lead all scorers with just 7 points. Ian Hummer, what a really productive game in New Zealand last start. 11 minutes, didn't get any shots up, 0 stats apart from a couple of turnovers. The mid-season recruit. International experience through Europe, the American. What's he going to give us today, Ian Hummer? The 34-year-old.
It's a tough assignment when you're coming in so late in the season, trying to find your role and your groove, particularly for stereotypically a role player. Yeah. And you look at his history and where he's been. That's what he hasn't been, that 20, 25 points a game and 15 boards. That's not him. And to come into a team that's looking for a spark, that can present some pressures. By and large, I think he's handled it well, and he's doing his best to contribute.
Adams puts it on the floor, works towards Krizlovic, shoots and can't get it back in time. JackJumpers ball.
Krizlovic does a decent job on that closeout on the much more dynamic Adams. Forces him to go to a really tricky left-handed reverse layup.
Does he come here at 12 and 12 in 6th position, right on the edge of the play-in tournament? They are 4 and 8 outside Tasmania since that 8-game winning streak. They've lost 4 of their last 5, the exception being that emotional win at home against Adelaide. Great scenes from Scott Roth. But they're off back-to-back losses against the Wildcats and the Breakers, and a mounting injury toll. So tough times, just the way Roth and the JackJumpers like it.
Well, the loss of Majuk Deng, that's huge. Yeah. He was a big part of what they were doing. An ankle injury. I think they still hold out hopes they do get to the finals. Maybe he could be available. And that's what you want to see from Hummer. That bully ball, that's twice he's got to the paint, one time to the free throw line, and then just that time finishing around the basket. Looks like what is going to be his strength.
Leafa lets rip with another attempted 3. Drimmick the rebound, so yeah, Majuk Deng might get back during the playoffs. Will Magnay, I read this week, is a chance to return next round. That'd be huge. The reinforcements are coming. Can they stay in the race, the JackJumpers? Foul called on Jalen Adams. That's his 2nd for the game. Needs to be a little careful during this 2nd quarter now. We are locked at 18.
JackJumpers done a good job with that high on ball between Crawford and Hummer, forcing the Kings to switch. Hummer's been caught a couple of times now with a smaller defender on him. Let's see if they continue to exploit it as this game goes on. He's strong in the paint.
Hummer putting a move on Tui, but missing. Now Adams finds the young next star, who fights for his rebound but can't get it. Tough to score at both ends of the floor.
They got the matchup.
Hummer cross court for Milton Doyle. He catches the rim. Kings look after the rebounds. Who's going to break free? Who's going to give us a significant run? Tui guarded by Krizlovic.
Oh, geez.
Who's fouled?
Well, lucky Krizlovic. It was a clunky move by Tui and almost got caught underneath the basket and got bailed out by the foul. Have a look, Tui
That's one thing that's really part of his repertoire. The spin move's been good. And just the hands down, because they weren't vertical, they call him for the foul. Just needed to keep those hands more vertical. Might have got away with it.
Alex Tui averaging 9 points per game at 45%, 4 rebounds. Have you seen the greatest advancement in his game compared to his first season in the NBL last year, man?
I just think it's the development of his body. He looks stronger out there. His quickness and athleticism obviously have improved, but I think also the three-point shot slightly more consistent this year.
He combined his steals and blocks, and he leads the league in that amount as Doyle gets tough down low. Didn't like the no call on him, but scored anyway to level it again at 20. Adams probing, almost tripping, and they reset through Bruce. Bourtois. Bruce, and travel called.
And Andrew, I really like the shape of this Tasmanian defense. They're doing a great job of just keeping the ball in front of them, understanding when they need to help, not over-helping, also showing good help so it discourages the ball handler from making a play.
And the way they're getting it through hands and controlling the tempo with their offense is really helping them on the defensive end. They're not quite as exposed on the defensive transition. It's giving them a better chance to get more established on that end to provide help.
Crawford gets away from Malawatch and gets the finish to boot. Now, Xavier Cooks has only taken one shot for the game, a miss. Do they need to find the league's MVP in years past a bit more often?
Well, they're just standing around.
It is. It's very ISO, individual, one-on-one type offense that the Sydney Kings are using right now. A lot of man movement in the half court. And here's an example down the other end of when you get a bit of movement, what can happen. Crawford, the little fella, and everyone just standing around as Adams makes a tough one into the paint.
It's only his second make of the game, so we have a timeout called by Tasmania's Scott Roth as we go over to Brad Rosen.
Yeah, hi. As you know, this is Pink Hoops Day, supported by the McGrath Foundation. And, of course, Jane McGrath, we all know very well. And Tracy Bevan, well, your best friend here. Why don't you tell us a little bit what today's event means to you and, of course, to the families that go through this terrible disease?
Well, at the moment, 1 in 2 people we diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. And the McGrath Fund just announced that we're now taking our expert care to all cancer. So to be here in basketball, turning pink, is absolutely fantastic.
And how can people show their support today?
So we can buy one of our headbands, pink headbands, for a donation. There's a QR code where you can make a donation. Lots of ways that you can get involved because every single dollar is making a difference to families' lives with cancer.
Fantastic. And what is the best thing about coming together in days like today?
I think what's great is everyone's having a great time, and that's the main thing. But we're all united in pink, and that means care. So it's fantastic that you've raised funds for McGrath Foundation because we can't do what we do without this support.
Now, we were just talking off air a little bit, and you said you're not sure about this basketball. You're actually really loving it now. We might get to see you at more games.
I think you will. It's a lot quicker than cricket, let me tell you.
Thanks so much, Tracy, and thank you for everything you do.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you, Australia, for your support.
Well done, Brad.
Imagine if she saw a quick game.
Yes. And well done, Tracy. If you are able, please find a way to help the McGrath Foundation, as my mother was battling breast cancer. One comment that stays with me, she said that McGrath Foundation breast care nurses are angels. And now, of course, helping in all forms of cancer.
Oh, gee, that looked like Tarangi put that in. He's encouraging Sydney to challenge. Now, I don't know whether that's because he thinks he's 100% sure that he's going to lose.
He wants to burn the challenge.
Yeah.
And they've taken the bait.
That's unusual to see the opponent telling the other coach to challenge.
Well, given my success rate with the challenges, Andrew, I'm just going to wait to have a look at the replay to decide whether or not he's baiting him or not.
Yeah, and it's always tough when 2 hands on the ball that bobbles out. It's different. These are not that easy. Now that looked like Tarangi hit it, didn't it?
So the Amy coaches challenge you. Have a look at home, and there's a hand on the ball.
Oh, see, that is hard to tell.
I believe that's Sydney ball.
Yeah, although Tui looked like he might have just...
Is it Tarangi into Tui, then out of bounds?
That maybe, if it's a split-second type read, very, very hard to tell. Scotty Butler in the team.
Wow.
Challenge is successful.
Scotty Butler in the replay centre has had a good look, and said good luck to you, Sydney, for challenging because it's successful. Scott, over to you.
Afternoon, gentlemen. Pretty straightforward out-of-bounds review. A little bit tricky initially with all the hands in there, but you can see Tarangi just touch the ball last and take the ball out of bounds. So we've changed that call back to Sydney.
So why was Ruben asking them to challenge?
Yeah, well, he thought he was... Maybe he's just being incredibly honest and sportsmanship.
Tui misses, Drimmick grabs the rebound, and here comes Milton Doyle. Tassie on level terms with Sydney. In front of a big crowd at Kudos Bank Arena. Nearly 18,000, their biggest crowd of the season here. And willing the home team pretty in pink today for the McGrath Foundation, willing them on.
So Tasmania are doing a good job of forcing Sydney to double when that mismatch was created off the on ball. Now it's up to those players that are catching in the post, Ian Hummer and Krislovich, to make the next play. They've got 2 turnovers on the past few possessions when that's occurred.
Adams elevates and scores. Every bucket seems a little more valuable than usual given how hard they've been to come by. Here's Crawford. And a rebound for Xavier Cooks. This crowd yet to really let loose, and Jalen Adams catches too much of the rim. He goes to 3 of 7 from the field.
You know, it's the type of affair at the moment that the JackJumpers would be very happy to be involved in. And they're just going to ride this out at this tempo, at this margin for as long as they can, knowing that they have some guys in Crawford and Doyle that can take over patches of a game and you win.
It is, and the defense has been really good for them. 7 of 22, the Kings, only 31.8, rounded up because Derek loves that, to 32. And only 3 of 11 at 27% from the three-point line. So they've struggled to test the JackJumpers. And again, they go to their strength. They recognise a mismatch. Hummer's been good around the basket, and they draw up a play to get him a look.
Drew, I just feel like the Kings switching that on ball, A, isn't necessary, and B, is putting them into a position where they might get burned at a crucial point in the game.
Yeah, they've been doing it a lot of the season, so it's part of their normal strategy.
That's 2 quick ones for McWatch, Malawatch. Back-to-back fouls from the Kings bench player, so Bull Qual will return, and Malawatch returns to the bench.
Time to go to work, Sydney fans. Get a louder here.
Crawford to the line for the first time today.
It's not like the Sydney Kings will be looking up and be overly concerned about their defense either, because they've done a pretty good job to hold the JackJumpers. 23, we talk about the low scoring for the Kings, but the JackJumpers had their problems as well.
Despite coming off the bench for much of the season, Jordan Crawford averaging 28 minutes per game, nearly 16 points at 41%, 4.5 assists. Oliver to Cooks. There's his first make of the afternoon, and he does it in style.
Beautiful find by Cam Oliver. Was On an aggressive switch, and the roller was always going to be on.
Hummer needs an outlet. It's a flashing Jordan Crawford.
They really do keep testing you with their cutting action, the JackJumpers. It's not like you can just be standing around in a help position. There's a lot of exchanges going on that keeps you alert.
Oliver spins on Drimmick, scores, and will go to the line for an extra.
And look at the Amy replay. Great action here, and Oliver is one of the best interior passing big men in the competition. And then great cut there, beats Liafa backdoor, Andrew, and one of your specialties. Right now, both teams are involved in a lot of pick and roll, and realistically, going down the stretch of this second quarter, whichever defense can minimize the impact of those pick and roll actions, that's who's going to have the lead as we go into the halftime break.
Oliver to 6 points for the game with 4 rebounds as well. Drimmick, not a good enough look to do that.
It almost comes as a shock when you see the JackJumpers take the early 3 ball.
I think it shocked the Kings.
Oh, that looked all ball too by Steindl. Maybe something with the body. They pulled it with the hands. It looked like there was a lot of ball. Scott Roth has said, I want to have a look at this, and I'm going to challenge.
He's on your page, Drewy. There was a nod from Steindl, the captain, towards the coach, and the coach thought, that's enough for me. So a Tangerine timeout for a Scott Roth challenge. The Kings have been successful with a challenge. Can the JackJumpers do likewise?
Might have been a foul there. Now, if that's, I don't know if you're allowed to go back, but there is all ball, and it was called with the hands. Now, it was the hands there on the dribble. There's an argument.
But this is similar to the play we had last week with Drimmick and Cotton down in Tasmania, where I talked about the initial contact, but that wasn't considered to be a part of the review, correct?
Yes. Well, I don't know. See, he's called the hands. Now, I don't know whether the hands was for a chopping foul on the shot or the hands. Now, normally, if that was going to be a chop, if it's a hands foul, that would be called a hold, not a chop. So it's going to be interesting, but certainly early on.
If they deem the foul to be there in the shooting motion, that's clean. I don't think they can go back and review the contact earlier on, Andrew, that you questioned.
Yeah. Well, it depends, I guess, on what the hands foul call. Now, that's a hold, and the challenge is successful.
Green lights all round so far today.
You know, they don't get it, though. And this is the thing. After that, it comes back and they get a jump ball. So if they don't win the jump ball, all they've really done is saved Drimmick for a foul.
Let's go to Scott Butler for some more clarity around that one, Scott.
Afternoon again, gentlemen. So Steindl actually does a pretty good job here of staying vertical on the play, but also challenging the shot itself and getting the ball. There's no illegal contact on the gather, so I checked that as well, just to make sure at the start of the act of shooting. And eventually Steindl does block the ball. Because it's a shooting situation, it's a missed shot, we walk the centre circle, drop the ball up.
Okay, thank you, Scott. And the Kings have possession. Now there's a foul called on Gack. Brad Rosen, you've been listening to Brian Goorjian.
Yeah, a bit of frustration here on the offensive end. He wants the wings to be able to space the floor, and then he's saying to Jalen Adams, go get it, get an on ball and go play. But very frustration, very clunky offense has been spoken about. And here's that on ball that they were going to go now.
Adams drives into Drimmick, who forces a retreat. Oliver, shot clock to 5. Cam Oliver lets loose, and then Adams knocks it back for Bull Qual. Adams again. And this time there's a foul called on Tasmania, so Sydney to the line.
There's no doubt it is clunky, but it's clunky at both ends. And this is by design by the JackJumpers. They want to make this game as ugly as it possibly can and make it a grind, because that's what they believe will give them the best chance.
Well, come on, coach. Go back a few years. What are you doing if you're in charge of Sydney today to try and shake this up, to get the game back on your terms and not the JackJumpers' terms?
Well, for me, on the Sydney offense, it's very stagnant. You saw a 2-on-2 game on one side, that last possession, 3 guys on the other side just standing. To me, some more cutting action before you get to that 2-on-2 to be a bit more disruptive with where your help responsibility is going to come from. Because when you've got 3 stationary guys on the opposite side, even if you do be able to attack the paint, you've got a wall already established that's going to be able to help. So trying to loosen up the defense with a bit more cutting action, motion for the sake of motion, is not always great, but in some circumstances it can be helpful.
And the numbers, as Crawford misses a little floater, but the numbers this season, this has been the big hurdle for Sydney. How efficient can they be on the offensive end? They've lacked productivity all season. They're currently 7th in the league in offensive rating. And with that talent, that is a big underachieving sign for them. They need to be better somehow, but time's running out, Andrew. And how difficult is it to correct season-long habits?
No, that's true. But this season's kind of like none other in that I know Illawarra seemingly have got a dominance and a well-deserved dominance sitting on top of the ladder, but unlike any other season, I think anyone that sneaks into the top 6, you're going to be nervous about playing against. There is equity in this and parity in this league that, particularly when you figure those top 6 teams, like none other, and to a point where Melbourne United lose last night, Sydney win tonight, they drop from 2nd to 4th or 5th even. So it's what's going to play out in these last couple of weeks of the season.
We'll come back to Melbourne, but any foul now will see the teams go to the line, and Sydney at least are doing well there. 11 of 12, Tassie not bad either, 5 of 7. Here's Jalen Adams for the Kings. Bulkwell, catch and shoot off the mark. Doyle takes the rebound. Yeah, Melbourne went into the Illawarra game knowing if they win their first, if the Kings win this, they'll be 4th. Inside 24 hours, it's a fair difference. Xavier Cooks, he hopes to make a difference for the Kings, who are out by 5 now. Timeout call by Scott Roth.
A turnover there by Milton Doyle. That's now 9 Sydney Kings points off of the JackJumpers turnovers.
Thanks to Harvey Norman, we've got the In the Zone mic being worn by Jordan Crawford today. He's listening to the coach now. Let's us listen to him.
Who I got? Who I got? Huh? Nah. Starty, let's. Starty, take Bruce. We good, we good. Stay in, stay in. Come on, Gigi. I got it.
You don't have to orderly press. Once you catch it, just be
it's back up.
Contact shoot.
Jordan Crawford, 6 points so far in this game, and 2 of 6 leading the scorers for the JackJumpers. Milton Doyle with 7 points. There's the live ladder. It is so tight, they crave a win here. They need a big production from Doyle, from Crawford, from someone, Derek.
Well, that battle for second spot is massive, and there are actually more teams vying for that number 2 position on the ladder than actually going for the 6th spot, which has been different from previous seasons.
And the other thing too, if you're the Sydney Kings, and yeah, you've got your eye on that 6th spot, but when you look at their run home, they also want to try and avoid that 5th or 6th spot. You know, the 2nd is obviously the best outcome, but you know, it doesn't take much of a slip up, and all of a sudden you're in a sudden death elimination game.
Big block on the JackJumpers from Sydney. Hummer maintains possession. Milton Doyle just inside the shot clock, and it's a good hit from Milton Doyle.
Great scramble there to get that ball back, leading to the Doyle 3 ball. That was a timely one.
6 of 25 collectively from the 3-point line, so no team's really lighting it up.
Cooks gets the O-board and the putback. Milton Doyle, the first man to double figures today on 4 of 9 shooting. Now he goes to 12. Has he caught fire here?
He's been really good in this first half, other than that turnover that led to the easy Kings breakaway. But Tasmania with a good reply out of that timeout.
Isaiah Leafa left all alone, and after an impressive early hit from three-point lands, hasn't been able to double down on that.
Glenn Doyle only averages 14 field goal attempts a game. He's already at 10. So with a few guys missing, he's been very aggressive, as Derek alluded to. He needs to be.
That Mitsubishi ladder we showed you a moment ago was the live ladder. So if the Kings win, they go third. If they lose, they stay fifth. And life gets a little tougher. And the putback from Cam Oliver just before the shot clock expired. Right on half-time. The Sydney Kings 38, the JackJumpers 34. I had to check the scoreboard there. It was off in time. Referee Vaughan Mabry signals it. It's good. Brad Rosen, to you.
Sean, obviously a bit of a clunky first half, 38-34. Where do you see the game at the moment?
It's on Tassie's terms. They like to muck it up. It's going to be a grind, and yeah, we just got to find some more pace and play on the tempo we want to play at.
And where's that pace going to come from? Defensive? Is it on the glass? Which way?
Yeah, stops first, and then yeah, just see where we go from there.
Thanks so much. Good luck for the second half. Well, stay tuned. Obviously, it's a low-scoring game, but it's a tight one. 38-34. The Kings are up at the moment, but we know the Jackies, they don't go away. We'll see you on the other side.
Anywhere in the world, rwsglobal.com. Kings fans, let's get it dark again so our Sydney Kings dance crew can light it up.
It's a shootout. The only weapon is the rock. Yo, I'm in it for the win. Only limit is the clock. Anything can happen. Show me everything you got. Jump on the bandwagon. Are you with it? So you know I was built for this. Ballin' is a part of me. Champion at work, bro. Appreciate the honesty. Hustle in the pink. Throw it up. It's a masterpiece. Kings on my chest. Sydney in my arteries. Undeniable. That's why they call me a king. I'm a triple threat, bro. I can shoot from the west. Or I can drive through the lane and hang on the rim. I got the Mamba mentality. I'm playing to win. With a fire in my chest. I'm flying on the next. You can reach, but you're messing with a lion in his den. I'ma put you on the coast if you're trying it again. Flash, flash,
Kudos Bank Arena. The light shows 18,000 in the house, and the Kings, well, they're up by 4 at the moment, but you can't help but think these undermanned JackJumpers, the Kings are just playing into their hands a little bit with this slow, low-scoring, defensive-minded basketball, Andrew Gaze.
It is, and this is right in the sweet spot of the JackJumpers. Although they trail it by 4 at the half, the shooting percentages by both these teams are well down. The three-point percentages are poor. And it's one of those games where I think you've got two really good defensive teams. In fact, statistically, the two best defensive teams, and it's made for a real grind. And combine that with the JackJumpers doing a good job of controlling the tempo with the way in which they play on the offensive end.
Well, I think Scott Roth would be very happy with where his team is right now. But I asked to see if the Sydney Kings could win one from wire to wire comprehensively. Obviously, I got my answer. That is not going to be the case.
Well, they got a big second half coming up, but for the JackJumpers, they usually need Milton Doyle or Crawford to stand up if they're going to be a chance. In the first half here, Andrew, Milton Doyle's the one to do it.
Yeah, he's been strong, and he needed to be. Derek called it. When you look at their light roster, you think, well, how are they going to get to 80? And it means that Milton Doyle needs to have a big night. He's already taken 10 shots. He only averages 14 shots per game on the season, and he's done it in a variety of different ways. Right from the very first possession, he's been super aggressive attacking the rim. We know he can knock down the three ball, albeit that his numbers on the season have been in the low 30s. But have a look at the Blackmore's shot chart. Inside, outside. Derek, stereotypically, that's what you're going to see from players these days. It's either three ball or attacking the rim.
That's the way it is, but I like the fact that he's trying to make plays. I'd still like to see him set his teammates up a little bit more, but overall the aggression is exactly as I had anticipated and called for in the first quarter.
Leonard Copeland will be smiling ear to ear because he's been calling Milton Doyle to get those shot attempts up all season. 10 at the half for him, 12 points on 50%, but Cam Oliver for the Sydney Kings. Now, it has been a raffle. What Cam Oliver are we going to see? Right now, you'd have to think Gorgin's pretty happy with what he's dishing out.
Yeah, he looks engaged in the game. And the bottom line is, Andrew, the Kings can't win a championship without Cam Oliver performing at a certain level.
Yes.
And this level we saw in the first half is sufficient. He just needs to stay on it, continue to work hard, and try and provide as much rim protection and rebounding as possible.
Yeah, and the 6 boards as well. He's crashing. We know he can hit the three ball. He's a handful. And it seems like, although there's been some teething problems and some real orthodontal work needed to be done throughout the course of the season, it seems like now that he's starting to find his groove and is a much better player now than what he was at the start of the season.
We look at the Mitsubishi Motors standings right there. What you see there is a live ladder. The parity to this league, the Sydney Kings a win. They're currently sitting 5th. They move all the way up to 3rd. And Tassie, well, they stay 6th, but hot on the tail, Derek, Adelaide and Brisbane.
Well, they've gotta win this game, Tasmania, I believe, because Adelaide are coming. Adelaide are going to win a fair share of their remaining games. So if Tasmania could steal one today, get one at home, they'll qualify, Andrew.
Well, those Adelaide 36ers, if Tassie drop this, which they'll be watching intently, then they get the chance against the bottom of the table Cairns Taipans. That one's coming up right after this one at 4:30 p.m. But we have a massive second half coming up. The Sydney Kings, well, they're looking top 4. The JackJumpers, they are undermanned and looking to stay alive in this second half.
Come on now, get our attention. I'm seeing some good bands, but am I seeing the MVP? It's a public prize. Pigtails, you are our MVP! Congratulations, you are taking home the ultimate fan prize. All thanks to Chemist Warehouse. Chemist Warehouse are giving away the chance for you to win the ultimate fans MVP finals experience. Scan the QR code on the screen now to enter. You could win 4 fully catered corporate seats to an NBL finals game, along with 4 signed jerseys and the chance to meet an NBL player post-game. You heard it. Awesome prize. Scan the QR code now.
I'm down here at the Pringles Punch Couch, just having a chat to the winners. We've got Nathan and Tinker over here. What's it like? Where were you sitting, by the way?
I have no idea. I was just wanting to win those tickets.
Section, how far were you from the court?
50, 60 metres.
And Nathan, he did all this shaking. You did dance before because he did this move which got our attention, and then you upgraded. Demonstrate what you did for us, like just. Yeah, demonstrate. He was doing this sort of shaking. That's what he was doing. It got our attention. And there's so many Pringles here. Look, there's so many Pringles here. We've got Pringles on the floor. They're going to take it all home. They're going to take the whole thing home. And also, it's Nathan's birthday, I heard. Is that right?
Right, he's 21 today.
He's 21. He looks good. He works hard. Congratulations. Happy birthday. You're on the Pringles Crunch Couch. Give Nathan a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for his birthday. Well done, buddy. Let's go to Ziggy. Ziggy, what do you got for us?
Well, it's crazy. We tried to get you to Tassie, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Man, Milt was vouching for you, bro.
Yeah, I didn't have enough.
Come on, you can sacrifice for 1 year.
Hell no.
Why?
You never sacrificed.
Yeah,
we
do.
You, are you crazy?
I sacrificed to come here. And look what happened, though. We won the share. Sometimes you got to, bro.
To win, though.
And you young, too, bro. You got plenty of time to make money. That money ain't going nowhere. Heard you. Heard you.
That's a fantastic Harvey Norman in the zone. Jordan Crawford talking with 28-year-old Bull Quoll, the 3-year Cairns Taipan, now a first-year Sydney King, but it sounds like he could easily have been a Tassie JackJumper.
Absolutely, it would have been. I'm sure the JackJumpers would love to have a guy that plays that level of defence. He'd be welcome on any team.
Come to Tassie. Don't worry about the money yet, said Jordan Crawford. Brad Rosen, how are you seeing this second half?
Well, I think if you're the Tasmania JackJumpers, you're exactly where you want to be. You know the troops that they've got down, and they're playing this game in a dogged way and just slowing the possession down. But if I'm the Sydney Kings, it's not good enough. You are vying for the top 4, really trying to go for the top 2, and you need to start pushing, and that starts on the defensive end. I'm not seeing the energy. I'm not seeing anything that is making me feel, guys, not only are you going to make the top 4, you make that run for the number 1 Illawarra. And Drewy, we were there last night, and we saw the pace of that game. There's a lot of gap between the two at the moment, and I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I think you're being a little harsh. Anytime you hold a team, and I know the JackJumpers are down on some talent, but 34 points, and you know they're defensively, whenever you're holding anyone in this competition at 34, you go, well, that's okay, but it's their shooting. They're only shooting at 36%, and even worse, 3 of 16, 18% from the three-point line. So I think trying to just maybe focus a little bit more on the offensive end and push the tempo like Brad was talking about, but get better shots.
But I get where Brad's coming from, and way to throw him under the bus after he set you up perfectly.
No, I wasn't trying. I'm just presenting a view of what my eye's telling me.
Well, no Sydney King is in double figures. The closest to doing so, Cam Oliver, Jalen Adams. That's a nice way to start the second half for the JackJumpers.
There's no better way to feel good about your prospects for a second half on the road than come out and hit a 3-ball.
Now Oliver to retaliate.
Wow.
With a bit of hang time for emphasis.
He needs to be a little careful with the chin up on the rim. That can earn you a tech foul. But thrown back down with authority. Now that seemed pretty simple, but that was an elite pass by Jalen Adams as well. Thread the needle. Bruce down low trying to front, Tarangi, gets called for the foul. But,
we had a great angle on this too, Andrew.
Thread the needle. No. Always respect. Look, 2 steps, once, and just gather and be able to go up that high with that level of authority. Well done by Cam Oliver, but great find by Adams.
Doyle inbounding, finds Steindl. Well, they rotate the ball, top of the key, Drimmick. Back to Steindl, and Tarangi was stripped of the ball by a steal specialist, Jalen Adams. The Kings by 3, opening minute of the 3rd quarter. Pink Hoops Day at the Sydney Kings. First the Flames, now the Kings, and Xavier Cooks gets an O-board. Kwatnoi deposits 3.
He may not have started the game, but he's come out, and that's what he's been doing this season. He's become a very reliable, particularly when he's open from the 3-point line. And when you need points, I like the decision to go to him early.
Andrew's got 10 points off of only 4 field goal attempts. And Krizovic has been called for a travel, shuffles the feet on the pass. But Noy, doing his chances of being 6th man of the year, no harm at all.
Adams going at Steindl again, missing, and there's a foul called.
It is. It's a push in the back on Xavier Cooks as he went up to get the rebound. But boy, it's not the sexy part of the game, but to watch Xavier Cooks and the way he relentlessly just continues to attack the boards. Now, he doesn't always come up with it, but it's just a volume business, and that time draws a foul. It takes incredible discipline, and sure, he might have an instinct for it, but it's great to see.
Well, Drew, he's on his way to another double-double. He's got 6 rebounds already.
And he's never stressed. He's only had the 4 field goal attempts, 3 or 4 from the field, but he's never looks anxious on the offensive end or dropping his head because he's not getting enough touches.
Oliver denying the JackJumpers. Noy now drawing a foul on Clint Steindl.
He's a professional offensive player. One of the smartest and most savvy guys in the competition, Kwatnoi. And his development from his early days in Cairns has been significant.
So we've got the pumped by Reebok influencer seats full again. Lime Cordial. Who doesn't like Lime Cordial? My kids listen to them all the time. As a result, Dad likes a bit of Lime Cordial as well. Great to see Ollie and Lewis here, and Daphne Berry, a podcast host. She hosts a podcast, Airing Your Dirty Laundry, the 4-hour Derek Rucker episode, Matty, coming up shortly, I believe.
You know, sometimes there's a little subjectivity about the way we'll observe and make comments. There is no cordial in the beverages that they are using tonight.
It's the special lime in that cordial. Yeah, Daphne Berry, Airing Your Dirty Laundry is her podcast. Great to see the influencers here being influenced by Milton Doyle and the Kings. It's the home team out by 8. Their biggest lead in the first half was 5. Doyle had 12 points to half-time. His season high is 32. Does he need to have a 30-plus game today for the JackJumpers to be any chance, Derek?
Well, he certainly needs to get in the mid to upper 20s, but that last shot was poor. He can get what he wants within the Tasmanian structure. Noy, again, misses a 3, but Doyle just needs to move the ball, then get it back and look to attack.
Noy swapping from the traditional black headband to a pink one, part of Pink Hoops Day. The Sydney Kings in conjunction with the McGrath Foundation today. Ian Hummer camped in the corner. He slots 3.
Well, that's not normally his go, but he was a good just catch and shoot.
Doesn't take a lot of threes, Andrew, you're right, but has hit him at 40% this season when electing to go from range.
Andrew's going pure eye test. He doesn't like the way it looks.
That's not terrible.
Holds his nerve and forces another foul on the JackJumpers.
I'm not sure not terrible is the evaluation he's looking for.
No, it's actually not that bad when you just see the way eventually unravels. There's you see the foul, Gack coming in. And again, that ball movement in the right place at the right time for Xavier Cooks.
Gack goes to 4 fouls too, Drewy, so that's a big one for Gorjok Gack. Who at this point is being left out there by Scott Roth. Hang on, now there's a change coming. The crowd today, 16,705. The Kings' biggest home crowd of the season. All part of Pink Hoops Day. So the JackJumpers get it back to a 5-point game. Hummer to Drimmick. Shot clock, 3 seconds. It will have to be Hummer. Noy had a hand in his face, and Hummer, with less than a second to shoot, nails 3 more. How's the 3-ball now looking for me and Hummer?
Well, Scott Roth gives us a little bit of a smile. I think he agrees with me. It's well, to make 1 is rare. To make 2, that's almost hard to believe.
Well, word just coming through, they awarded that a 2. It was a long 2 indeed. Right. And Noy goes back at them. Noy to 15 points on 2 of 5 from outside. It's 48-42, a fumble by the JackJumpers, retrieved by Noy now. And they're finding the keys to unlocking Tasmania. Well, it breaks down late. They found Xavier Cooks at the right range, but he lost the ball.
Mismatch.
That throws it straight to Bull Qual.
That's what I alluded to in the first half. Those guys that get in the double team must be good with their passing and decision making.
Noy gets away from Steindl. And then again, the Kings are proving effective at forcing a foul on Tassie late in the possession.
Well, clearly, he was clearly over the line. It was only the 2, so but still a long 2. And then down the other end, you've got Noy, flares to the corner, nothing but the bottom of the net.
And Noy may not be entirely clear on court how big he is in the upper body, Andrew. And that's one of the strengths that he has, is he's able to keep defenders off of him while also at times being able to initiate contact just through his size.
We saw it on that play there, the way he just goes in. If someone's around the rim, he can just use his body, and he welcomes that contact.
So many people can attest to the vital work, the special work the McGrath Foundation nurses do. If you are able, scan the QR code and donate to a fantastic cause. Affecting lives so positively at a terrible time. And Jordan Crawford backs away with 3 more in the bank. It's 50-45. They will not go away, the JackJumpers.
No, this is part of their DNA. They figure out ways to hang around.
Talangi gets the rebound and then threads a couple of Kings to find Crawford, who's passed to Hummer. He's lost baseline.
Probably not the fundamentally sound play you want to try and make there, given the context of the game. I would have liked to have seen Crawford try and get to the paint off his left hand there. We got a little substitution malfunction.
Are they being a bit ambitious with their ball movement? To half-time, points from turnovers, 11-2 in favour of the Sydney Kings. Now the turnover count reads 11-3 against the JackJumpers. We've seen a couple of turnovers in the recent possessions. Or is it more the defence of Sydney? Something is at play that the JackJumpers need to fix.
Well, it's just one of those games, Matt.
It is.
Offensively, things are probably not going to be aesthetically pleasing for the balance of this game. We just saw some misses inside, but...
Even the one before that, Jalen Adams missed one he's normally going to make. Xavier Cooks, it was a little tougher. They're missing some shots around the rim that most of the time you expect them to make, and the JackJumpers continue to hang around.
Doyle stays at it. He goes to 14 points, his first points since half-time. It's taken him 6.5 minutes in the third. Isaiah Leafa. Through Quoll to Sean Bruce, top of the key. Too heavy.
And nothing fancy there in the defensive rotations. Tasmania do a really good job of keeping it simple as Crawford pushes it early in transition. And Andrew, we have seen this guy, Jordan Crawford, show incredible mental toughness during his stretch in the NBL. So often, it looks like he's down on his luck. And he has an amazing ability to lift himself up and perform.
Well, it's no better example than what you're talking about and what took place in that final series last season against Melbourne United. They figure it wasn't quite working for him. They bring him off the bench, and in that game 5, it was Jordan Crawford explosion in the first half, and the scoring that he did. That, you know, it was without that they don't hang a banner from the rafters in Hobart. So it's he doesn't get perturbed, and as you mentioned, although he's coming off the bench, he's still averaging 28 minutes a game. Started 13 games throughout the course of the season, but doesn't sook it up, doesn't look flustered about coming off the bench in the various roles that he plays.
Played around the world and he's enjoying his time at Tasmania. Jordan Crawford here trying to defend Bull Quoll. Nice rebound for Steindl. Crawford, who's averaging 21 points per game against Sydney. That's his most against any opponent. They'll need every one of those 21 points if he can hit his average today. Crawford, nice move on Leafa. He pulls up. Jordan Crawford for the Tassie JackJumpers.
Well, he's one of the most talented shot creators in the league. And when he gets going, he can elevate himself. As you mentioned before, Drewy, he can get up there in that Bryce Cotton stratosphere as Tui. Misses everything.
And on the back of Crawford, look at the scoreboard, Tasmania back in front by 1.
There are certain guys, when they get themselves going, the confidence that they exhibit radiates through their teammates, and the teammates start feeling better about themselves, and the collective performance increases.
Didn't score in the first quarter, Crawford. He had 6 points in the second.
Matty, I apologize. I think that was too abstract for Andrew. He's gone.
No,
he's mesmerised by this fight shown by Tasmania. Missing big pieces. No Deng, no McDonald, no Magnay. Yet they're in front of the Sydney Kings deep into the third quarter and fighting for their playoff life.
Wow.
Bucket is waved away.
And you're going to live with some of these possessions, these 24-second shot clock violations, in order to make sure you control the tempo. There, see, almost a lucky foot violation.
Well, sometimes a shot clock violation is not a bad result.
Better than a bad shot that leads to a
especially
transition.
how hard both teams are finding to get buckets at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and it's the tempo has really had an impact.
Well, the Kings
on
are
the Sydney
trying.
Kings.
Sorry, Drewy.
Oh,
You're right. Only 50 points scored, make it 53 now, courtesy Quatnoy, but we are nearly at three-quarter time, and both these teams are camped in the low 50s.
Well, if Quat keeps it going, he's going to be camped in the low 30s because he's feeling tonight. 20 points, 4 of 8 from the field, incredible efficiency.
Fresh from that career-high 27. It's in jeopardy again if he keeps it going. Clint Steindl now.
Old school. Shot fakes the 3-ball, steps into a mid-range. Normally nowadays, guys will sidestep into a 3. Take the 2 if you can get them.
Both teams seeing the shots fall a little more regularly late in this third quarter. Adams harangued by Crawford, and here's an easy finish for Fabian Krislevic. JackJumpers out by 2. Sydney trying to sweep Tasmania this season. They beat them in October by 9. In November here by 28.
Yeah, that was just a spifflication on that occasion. And sometimes you have those bogey teams. Well, look at the Illawarra Hawks against the Adelaide 36ers.
Yeah.
He's quite annoyed, and he's loving the feeling he's going through and the smile at the, yeah, that's what I do.
Yep.
Just to the fans who are getting up and about.
I like that.
But Andrew, you are symbolic of being a product of one of the great offensive systems we've ever seen in the NBL. And systems matter. And Tasmania have a system and a structure in place about how they play basketball. And it revolves around their defensive systems in ways they can limit teams from scoring. And they're doing a number right now on the Sydney Kings as Cook splits the free throws.
No, exactly, and it's what Kobe Bryant and Phil Jackson said, and that so many teams are playing accidental basketball. That is, you're coming down, it's concepts, it's spread, and it's not necessarily knowing where your destination is. Is there an over and back? But that's, the JackJumpers got more of a balance, where they have a far better priority in knowing what the destination of a play is going to be rather than just something evolving out of actions.
So turnovers now 13-4 against the JackJumpers. Do they pay a price for it here late in the third? Sydney trying to take a lead with the final shot of the third quarter. Instead, Quatnoy draws a foul. He'll go to the line for three. And listening to A gaze intently over the years, words like spifflication and hellacious. Derek Rucker, you and I need to broaden our vocabulary quite clearly.
Wow.
These folks out of Melbourne are using words I can't even say, let alone spell or define.
That's what happens when you spend a couple of years commentating alongside Joel. Joel brings that real sort of ABC approach to the commentary box. And he's a delight to broaden the vocabulary.
Shout out to Joel Peterson.
That's it.
Here we back behind the microphone and broadening our language base in no time at all. Ever been tempted to don a pink wig, Derek?
No.
Today's the day if you were.
Yeah, I think I'll leave that to the wonderful fans here that have made it out here. Oh, that's a nice outfit.
2-2, pink wig, I can see you donning both. So there's Quatnoy sending Sydney ahead by one. 5 seconds left in the quarter. It goes to Jordan Crawford. Ball Qual gets in front of him. A fumble from Crawford. The mid-court prayer from Xavier Cooks is off the mark. The Kings have a lead, but only just. Scoring is tough. Momentum and rhythm near impossible to get. But one team's going to win this game. We'll find out which one in the final quarter.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment. If you want to win a prize, you can stand up, make some noise.
Come on, Ian. Come on, Ian. Come on, Ian. Do that. I got two. Hey, you go. Go to the ball. You go to the ball. When your man leads, follow the ball. Good shot, baby. Good shot, Keller.
Welcome back to Sunday Hoops, and that was Jordan Crawford with Harvey Norman in the zone. Well, we have an absolute blockbuster here. 56-55, the Kings are up. I just listened to Tasmania's quarter time, and they could not be happier. This is the game they want, and he just said to the boys, 10 minutes, let's bring it home.
Well, they're trying to see off Adelaide. A couple of wins behind them, but in action next. In Cairns, Quatnoy leaves a shot short. Oliver gets the rebound and scores. And of course, Sydney still have designs on the top two and a home playoff series.
Of course they do, and we know the Kings can be destructive to opposition teams in the fourth quarter here at Kudos Bank Arena. That Cam Oliver offensive rebound, a good play as Drimmick bullies his way into the paint and draws the foul on Liapa.
Kings have won the fourth quarter in each of their last 8 games. They are last quarter specialists. They're out by 3 early seconds of this one.
Just no need to reach in there. Drimmick looks like he's hurt his ankle also.
Well, I like it. That's great vision to see what happened. That was completely a one-on-one move from the post. There was no help at all coming from anywhere. And the nature of the game, particularly when you've got a size advantage like Drimmick has, it's going to be advantage offense.
Well, the other big aspect of this game, Andrew, is with so much riding for both teams on the outcome of this game, who handles tightness best? Right now, Sydney looked tense on the offensive end. They're not free-flowing yet. Can they get out on the break? Can they generate some turnovers, some open 3 balls just to loosen themselves up?
Drimmick with a hobble, his first trip to the line, 2 of 2. He's an 82% free throw shooter this season and lives up to that. Oliver to Liapa, and Liapa just starting to find his rhythm from range after a really tough first 3 quarters to the season.
No, and he's the sort of player, though, even when he may not be shooting the ball that well, he never seems certainly outwardly look like he's lacking in confidence from the 3-point line. He always remains aggressive, and it came through to him, although they eventually lost the game with that huge 3-pointer he made against Melbourne United.
Here's Crawford. Jalen Adams hurries onto the loose ball. We've had a lead 10 times in this game, a lead changed 9 times. Sydney's biggest lead, 8. Tassie's biggest lead, 5. Right now, the Kings are out by 6. Timeout called by Scott Roth as the Kings get a little breather. It's 63-57. So does this fourth quarter unfold like so many have for the Sydney Kings, especially at home, with the game on the line at 3-quarter time and the home team surging in the last?
Well, one of the reasons why they can be so dominant in 4 quarters is the energy of Xavier Cooks. That never drops off. And you get plays like we just saw, an offensive rebound, good rebounding from Xavier Cooks. And then, of course, the individual delight that Jalen Adams has been in 4 quarters. So Tasmania really need to lock one of those 2 guys.
My word, they do, and the defense has been their calling card and trying to control the tempo, but as this game gets lower and lower with the time remaining, it puts more pressure on the JackJumpers if you're playing catch-up to shoot the ball a whole lot quicker, which is not necessarily going to be to their advantage.
Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney. That is the live ladder in Hungry Jack's NBL25. Brian Goorjian and his men, if they go on to convert this 6-point advantage to a win, they'll sit 3rd putting real pressure on the Perth Wildcats, who are in action on Wednesday night against Melbourne. What a game.
Yeah, I kind of like Perth in that second spot with all those games they have remaining out in the West. And also Bryce Cotton.
Hopefully Windler's okay. I think he's going to be a big part. If you think of the Wildcats winning a championship, I think that he's going to be a requirement for sure.
Beautiful pass, Crawford finding Tarangi. Great assist.
Excellent set coming out of that timeout. Jordan Crawford impacting this game. You can see his confidence levels are high, Andrew.
That's a terrific find.
Adams through Oliver. Out for Kawatnoi. He might play in the pink headband every game as he hurries to 25, remembering he's fresh from his career-high 27. What an impact off the bench, not just in this game, but during the season. Look at it again and enjoy Jordan Crawford providing for Tarangi.
Cam Oliver's doing a really good job of passing out of those roll situations. Underrated skill that he has. And he's got 3 assists to go with 8 boards and 12 points. We mentioned that Cam Oliver has to be a big part of this Sydney Kings team and how they play if they want to advance deep into the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. And it's might have been some challenges throughout the course of the season, but it seems like they have found the formula to get the best out of Cam Oliver, and a bit of that is playing him more.
Wow, big play here.
It counts via the hand of Clint Steindl.
Wow.
Ian Hummer hit the deck.
But Brian,
the foul called on Kawatnoi.
Brian Goorjian, yeah, he went through the screen, and they call it trying to fight through the screen, but it's always tough. There's the foul, and I'm surprised to see that actually was counted. Looked like the foul committed well before, and they're saying it was in the act of shooting. So there's...
And the other thing, Andrew, is it's not one free throw to Hummer, but they get the ball back. So they have a chance to, theoretically, get another 3.
Almost identical situation.
Yeah, Steindl was lining up again. It was Hummer again on the deck, and it was Kawatnoi, the villain for the Kings.
Now, Hummer needs to be careful here on the next screen he sets. He needs to be as precise as he can be. No movement, because the whistle, any doubt, Andrew, I guarantee you the whistle will go against him.
No King has more than 2 fouls. Gorjak Gak out there for the JackJumpers, nursing 4. Apart from him, no other Tassie player with more than 2. Here's Milton Doyle trying to get past Kawatnoi. He's too good, Milton Doyle.
And he's right. He was calling for a foul. There was contact. Doyle, extremely effective. He's got 16, 4, and 4.
That little bit of breathing space now makes your offense and the shots a whole lot tougher for the Sydney Kings now that there's only a point in it.
And that might be the game done for Gorjak Gak.
Tasmania starting to get frustrated with the whistle, and they just need to maintain their composure. It's a 1-possession game with 7 minutes to go.
So Gak is out of the game with his 5th personal. The Kings are off to the line through Jalen Adams. 1 of 2 today in this position. Bit of banter out there between Vaughan Mabry and some upset JackJumpers.
Well, it was Milton Doyle. He, again, just going back to the play previously at when he made that basket, he thought it should have been an and 1, and a missed free throw. They look tight, the Sydney Kings, on their shots, hoping that they're going in rather than knowing the shot's going to go in.
19 of 25 at the line compared to Tassie's 8 of 11. Milton Doyle, athletic.
And keep in mind, the Kings have already committed 4 fouls this quarter, so Doyle and Crawford should really be putting this ball on the deck and attacking the rim.
Doyle averaging 14 points per game this season. He has 18 in this one. despite 2 earlier wipeouts against the Sydney Kings. Here's Isaiah Liafa, not lacking any confidence at all, Andrew Gaze.
He's the sort of guy that Brian would like to have out there because he knows he's not afraid of the big moment.
Well, he's liking having him out there, Andrew, because he's knocked down 3 threes.
That's right, because he's not afraid of the big moment.
Here's Crawford with the turnover number 15 for the JackJumpers. Liafa made 6 threes, round 6 against New Zealand where he had 23 points. Been lean picking since then, but when he gets hot, he can drain that 3 ball, as was witnessed round 6 against the Breakers.
And again, a great job by Xavier Cooks, just sucking in that help defender who was responsible for the AFA and creating an opportunity for him.
And when you do that, that's where that weak side at the very least has got to stunt. Put some thought into the shooter's mind that there's going to be some help.
So Kwatnoi, 25 points for the game, chasing his career-high 27. Is he the 6th man of the year? Well, Brad Rosen spoke to him pre-game about that.
Now, most of us commentators think your name's already engraved on that best 6-man award. What do you say?
Hey, might as well just give it to me right now, huh? Yeah, it's already engraved in it. So I'm having a great season. Like I said, I'm happy. I come to work happy. I got a great family, and everything's just falling into part.
A smile on your face says it all, mate. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Give it to him now, Derek. I love that confidence.
Well, we know, based on some of his exploits at the NBL 1 level, that he is full of self-esteem, but the numbers back it up. Not only in today's game, but throughout the course of the season, he is an elite shooter and a guy that, again, loves the moment, loves the occasion, and senses it.
Andrew, what I love about him is that a smile's never far from his face. He has fun, be it on the bench, be it on the floor nailing threes, or speaking to the media. In the media conference, he's always ready to have a laugh.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's in moments like this where that counts. When you see your teammates saying, hey, we're having fun out here. Look at the privileged opportunity. We're in front of 18,000 people. And you've got to make sure you keep it in context, and that can help permeate throughout the group to allow others to get that ease when you're taking those shots rather than getting that steel elbow. Nothing worse than the steel elbow, Derek, and every single human being that's played basketball has had those moments.
I wish you would have had more of them.
Well, I think we all have, and they're not a lot of fun.
Adams. You get the possession back. Liafa thought about it. Noi off mark. Brad Rosen, over to you.
Yeah, just listening into the Kings timeout there, it was go time for what they were talking about. They wanted the ball to go into Jalen Adams' hands, which it did, and they want to work off that on ball. I did notice a couple of possessions ago he pulled up and did grab his back there, but he seems to be fine, so we'll monitor that as well.
Thank you, Brad Rosen, courtside. Wow. Andrew Gaze, Derek Rucker in expert commentary as the Kings hold this 3-point lead. How important will the next 5 minutes be after the regular season is done for these two teams?
Well, it's massive, especially for Tasmania. They could steal one here in Sydney. Really lifts their chances of getting that play-in spot.
Crawford finding Hummer. Ian Hummer knocks down a big 3 to lock it up yet again.
Love that stroke. His second 3-ball from the corner, clearly above not terrible status now, Andrew.
No, it's looking good, and the technique's reasonably solid.
Okay.
There's no steal in that elbow. Ian Hummer.
But having said that, I think Brian Gorge, if we look at the Amy replay, the kick-out pass too. Crawford draws the help from Cooks by design. Elbows in, good extension follow through. Nice play.
Jalen Adams. Tough shot.
Tasmania really doing a good job on that end of the floor. Doyle.
It's right in the wheelhouse of the Tassie JackJumpers. Low scoring, an offensive grind. It's a wrestle at Kudos Bank Arena. Lo and behold, the JackJumpers are in front by 3, but now we're all square again. Doyle into Jalen Adams.
We've seen that, a lot of counter-punching in this game where someone's hit a three and they've been able to come back and answer immediately.
Krizlovic in the battle with Cooks. Instead, he passes, finds Steindl over the top of the hole. A crowd of nearly 17,000 hoping to get their team home. Adams. Wow, tough shot. He bumped into Ian Hummer.
There's not much more Hummer could have done. I thought he was well positioned to take that smaller guy going at him. Just good offense, beating pretty good defense.
Hummer puts it on the floor. The left hand off the glass was a little heavy. Straight after this one, we're off to Cairns. Taipans, 36ers. Try telling me what's going to happen in that game.
It's a must-win for the Adelaide 36ers, of course.
So Milton Doyle sent the JackJumpers to a lead, and straight away, I didn't have time to finish my sentence, and it was all square again.
Jalen Adams loves these moments, and the ball will be in his hands a lot down the stretch. Found his way into this game pretty well, not shooting a great at 5 of 16, but he's always a danger.
Game, or NBL game, 828 for Brian Goorjian. It's on the line with 2.5 to play. Let's listen in.
I'm resting you. All right, look. I want you. Ball's out of bounds with you. X. I want Noi. You're in the high out. You're running baseline. You're running baseline. You're lifting. Noi. You're coming off X. Don't move on it. X. Baseline run this side. All right. Come. Make this hit. All right. X. J.A. Come here. You look for the pull through or the handoff. Screen. All right. You two guys are opposite. Here we go. Noi.
Well, there's a big possession, and Brian Goorjian quite clear what they're looking for.
Just listened into Brian Goorjian. Brad, you were listening to Scott Roth.
Yeah, that's right, I was. Scott Roth's going to go to Doyle. They'll have Jordan Crawford with the ball, but they'll set a screen for Doyle. But he just said, I'm so proud of you guys. Keep going. We're right in this game, 2.5 to go.
They're winning the rebound count, 30-27. The last 6 games, they've won the rebound count, they've won the contest. Here's Cooks, and Krizlovic fouls.
Wow, it was well executed. Out of the timeout, they got to the action that they wanted to get to. And he goes at Krizlovic, and just the reach in, the arms coming down. Just need to keep those arms vertical, give himself a chance.
But the fake handoff is one of the best ways to create a mini advantage, and a talented player like Cooks only needs that slight edge to be able to get himself to a situation where he's shooting 2 free throws.
And it's only as effective as the threat coming off.
Correct.
So if you've got a poor threat coming off, the Cooks' man's not going to bite on that.
Cooks makes 1 of 2. He's 2 of 6 at the line today, and Doyle was strong, grabbing the rebound. Crawford finding Fabian Krizlovic. Noi makes the rebound his own.
Not a bad shot, Andrew, but probably not the one you wanted at that time.
No.
He's capable of knocking that shot down, but maybe a couple more ball movements in that possession.
Especially when Grant informed us that they're drawing it up for Milton Doyle.
We go inside the final 2 minutes. Shot clock putting plenty of pressure on the Kings.
Good contest by Krizlovic. I got a piece of that 3-point attempt by Adams.
So timeout called, 3 the difference. 1:48 to play. The big crowd here, many of them shifting uncomfortably in their seats.
Well, Tassie are going to rue the 15 turnovers that they've committed, and only being down 3 and the edge that the Sydney Kings have in the points off turnovers category. If they were able to overcome that disparity, this would be a tremendous victory for Tassie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big factor in this one. Only 4 turnovers for the Kings, which is, that's elite. It's very difficult to be able to, with the defense of both these teams, to be only have the 4 turnovers, and they're still going very much down to the wire.
And Matty, Tassie have shot 51% from the field. The Kings have been just awful at 36%, and not great from the three-point line at 30%. It's just been a symbolic of their season. You know, they're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the competition.
Yeah, and the Kings, with the way in which they attack the rim, they've been rewarded. They've been to the free throw line 27 times, whereas the JackJumpers only been there 11. And then the Kings 20 of 27, 8 of 11 for the Jackies.
We saw the Mitsubishi live ladder. I was having some fun with the live ladder at NBL.com.au this morning, typing in the possible results and margins to work out what was going to happen. I guarantee you the ladder predictor is a must-go-to as these games continue towards the postseason.
We talk about tightening up on the offensive end. There's a foul on a three-point shooter, and they're going to send Noy to the free throw line, but you can tighten up on defense, and that was an example of it down the other end. We saw Crawford on the wing, no weak side help. He goes in and just straight line drives. Got to do a better job guarding the board, but you get guarding the ball, but when there's not that help, have a look at the 3 ball. We couldn't quite see it, but it was...
Well, it's a common concept on offense that a lot of teams employ now to get their three-point shooters open. Melbourne United are the best at doing it for Chris Golding.
So Kwat Noy, 3 years at Cairns Taipan, now in his 3rd year at the Sydney Kings. If he makes this, he has a new career high, 28 from Khartoum to the Kings. Kwat Noy enters uncharted territory, 28 points on 5 of 12 from the field, 4 made threes and 14 of 15 at the line. Doyle catches the rim. The Kings by 4 with 1:10 left. Craving a stop here as Adams slows it down, goes to Noy. Now Jalen Adams lets loose with a 3. Foul spotted by Vaughan Mabry, and it's called on the JackJumpers.
It's on Jordan Crawford, the box out. He just pushed a little too much. Have a look at Jordan Crawford here. The hold and the push takes Noy out of the rebounding contest. I think it was the hold. I think you see the jersey, it looked like he might have had a little grab of the jersey.
And preventing Noy from elevating, but wow.
Crawford has 4 personals. Doyle now with 4 as well. Final minute.
You can't face guard the guy, and
well, that's
it's a massive
the thing.
advantage to you.
The thing about it
Wait a
is...
minute, did he say you can face guard?
Yeah, of course you can. But I think it was more the hold. But it is true that if he had have turned his body and did exactly the same thing with his back rather than his chest, he probably gets away with it.
Kwat Noy has his first 30-piece. Jordan Crawford needed that to go. It will be called JackJumpers ball.
Crawford elects to go for the early 3. I would be surprised if they attack the rim here. Take a 2.
Yeah, and again, Brian Gorgian down the stretch elects not to go with Cam Oliver. And I do see some interesting lineups, unexpected lineups for Brian Gorgian down the stretch of games.
Fumble by Hummer. It's called Jackie's ball still.
Xavier Cooks is confident that it will be Sydney's ball.
It looked like he threw it off his back, off Cooks' back.
So inside the final 2, the replay centre can get involved to decide how we restart this one.
Off Hummer's back, but does it come off Cooks after it hits Hummer.
Here we go, Andrew. This is the angle.
Ooh. I don't think it does. I think it's a Sydney Kings ball.
Well, Xavier's celebrating because he believed there was no contact by anyone or anything in pink.
Again, Xavier Cook's just always around the basketball. And if there's a loose ball, he generally is the one to come up with it.
Brad Rosen, over to you.
Yeah, I'm just watching the substitution here. Sean Bruce is probably going to come in here, and that would potentially be for the free throw side of things because they're now going to have to foul in the possession arrow.
Couldn't quite see, but I assume Cooks' feet were in bounds when he threw it off the back.
It's a Sydney ball. The Kings by 6, 45 seconds left in what has been a real grind. Game 1 of 2 this Sunday in Hungry Jack's NBL. Off to Cairns next, Taipan's 36ers.
Oh, my.
That was off Jordan Crawford and nearly pinched by Tasmania.
We're checking this one as well. It looked pretty straightforward that Crawford hit it out of bounds.
I don't think Brian Goorjian was going, oh my, as that unfolded in front of him.
Well, he was. He's thinking, how could they make a pass like that?
Not using those sort of words, I'm suggesting. A bit more venom and a bit more colour in the expression uttered by Brian Goorjian.
Now, on that last inbound chance, Sean Bruce did flare open on the weak side of the floor.
Having a chuckle because what Noy's feeling the love of the crowd. He's talking to everyone, including the humble commentators.
He's making a play for not only 6th man of the year, Andrew, but he feels that he is most improved player. He's just informed us of that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He's a lot of self-confidence, and I like that. And that's why he's not afraid of the moment either. He's got great self-belief, and he's lobbying.
In-game.
Lobbying in-game.
Here's Liafa under pressure by Hummer. The JackJumpers have it. Hummer let loose with a huge three. There were 40 seconds left on the clock. Did he misread the time? A rush of blood, who knows? And now Tarangi has to foul. They had possession. They had time to set up. And Hummer let loose from the Bunnings warehouse sign.
It was just, he just must have completely misread the entire game situation.
Maybe he mistook the late 39 seconds or early 42nd on the clock for 4 seconds. I don't know, but
that's not a play you'd expect from someone that went to Princeton.
Well, fair. And someone who has spent a large amount of his adulthood playing professional basketball.
He's played all over the world.
5 years at Princeton, Andrew. 5 years.
Ivy League school.
He's been to Germany, to Finland, to Turkey, to Russia, to Monaco, to Greece, to Japan. He really has gone all over the world, but he had an unworldly moment right there, and as a result, the Sydney Kings lead by 8. They can reach out and touch victory now. A win that will take them to 3rd spot on the ladder. Brian Goorjian all along has said, we want top 2. Their run home features another couple of interesting home games here where 17,000 might be usurped, Andrew, and you have a look at Adelaide on Friday coming here.
Yep.
They've got Perth Sunday, February 2. They're the home games. Either side of that, they've got South East Melbourne this Wednesday, and then they finish, Derek, against Illawarra in the Gong.
And as we see at the Mitsubishi Motors Live Ladder, this win keeps them right in the hunt for the 2nd spot. And coupled with those games that you said they have at home, they really have an excellent chance to, if they can't get to second, Andrew, because I think Perth are going to secure second, at least they can finish in third and host that first play-in game.
Andrew, they go at Southeast Melbourne versus Adelaide versus Perth at Illawarra. How many of those four do the Kings win?
Wow. It is a really tough run home that they've got. You think you back them in on their home court.
So they beat Adelaide and Perth here and maybe get one on the road. That's 3 of 4. And Derek, you reckon that might be enough for them to finish top 2? It's all to unfold in a thrilling climax to NBL 25. What a race.
The problem with those 2 road games is you got 2 of the hottest teams in the competition in Illawarra and Southeast Melbourne.
Yeah, that's right. But there's no easy games. Even you look at Cairns now that they're healthy, that they are going to be a handful for any team that plays them. And right now, though, Adelaide fans, Adelaide coaching staff, and everyone involved in Adelaide, they've had their pom-poms out cheering for the Sydney Kings, as would the Brisbane fans as well, although it's hard to see how they can recover from the injury toll that they've sustained in recent weeks.
The door opens for Adelaide. They're up next against Cairns in far north Queensland. Crawford makes 2 at the line. It's a 6-point game. They crave on a turnover here. Steindl nearly got a result. Adams brings the Kings safely into the front court, and now Hummer fouls.
And just a couple of poor possessions from the JackJumpers in this 4th quarter that really hurt them. And there were things that they controlled, Andrew. Wasn't anything that the Kings did that was brilliant.
Well, they just got no margin for error. And it was highlighted down the stretch. Full credit for the JackJumpers, the way they played this out. This had the potential to get really ugly, but they came up with a terrific strategy to give themselves a chance, and a real fighting chance. They hit the lead with a handful of minutes remaining in this one, and the Kings hold their nerve.
Kings by 8. Crawford loses it, out of play. 9 seconds left. The Kings are home now. The JackJumpers under pressure to hold 6th spot. They're at Southeast Melbourne next Saturday. Then they play Illawarra, Melbourne and Cairns to finish. Adams with the exclamation mark to make it 88-77. And the Sydney Kings are tickled pink. They've held off the Tassie JackJumpers, who bravely made this a contest until deep in the 4th quarter. As I mentioned, undermanned, but never overawed. They've lived up to that expectation and forced the Kings to work really hard and hold their nerve.
Well, the Sydney Kings can take a deep breath and exhale because they were pushed to the limit today. They came up huge, as we know they can in 4 quarters, and really give themselves a chance to continue to climb this Mitsubishi Motors ladder.
Yeah, a huge sigh of relief from the Sydney Kings and the 18-odd thousand that are here today, because they were into this game up to their eyeballs, and they had some moments that really tested them. And that's the thing about this Sydney Kings. A lot of questions being asked about it, about some of the strategies, but at the end of the day, they're getting the wins when they need them, and they're starting to play some basketball that's going to give them a fighting chance once the playoffs come about.
And that's correct. And again, Scott Ross comes in here with a great blueprint. He's a master tactician, but Brian Gorgian and his guys just do enough. And this is something that you need. This is an attribute you need if you want to advance deep into the playoffs, the ability to will yourself to victories.
The Kings go to 15-10. At home now, they are 7-5. They are 3rd on the ladder. And this man is fresh from a career-high 32 points, Brad Rosen.
That is right, our Foot Locker player of the game. Your first 30-piece in the NBL. Talk to me. How you feeling?
I feel great, man. Obviously, all the trials and tribulations throughout my basketball career, it's showing right now. I'm consistent every time I come out the court, and it feels great.
It did feel a little bit clunky in the first half, but the second half so much better. And on the back of your shooting, is that the Sydney Kings we want to see?
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously the first half we were a bit stagnant, but in the second half we made sure, we were more together on the offensive end and boxed out of what we got.
Well, continue on here because I'm going to go and grab him. Quat, you're not done here. I think they just poured the water over what we believe could be the best six-man, but dare we say it, the most improved?
Hey, give it to me all. I want most improved. I want six-man. I want all NBL second team. Let's go, baby.
That's Quat Noi. Over to you, Matty.
Next week, I'll add MVP. The pink singlet worked for Quat Noi. So too, the pink headgear. 32 points, including 4 triples, 18 of 19 at the line. It's a win for the Kings by 11 points with Quat Noi front and centre. After the break, Felix Von Hoff, Andrew Gaze, Derek Rucker wrap it up from the Harbour City.
I'd like to thank the McGrath Foundation for all that they do for cancer patients out there. And the MVP of the game goes to Quat Noi.
What an awesome win. That's the Sydney Kings players lead. Give them a big round of applause as they depart, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. What an effort they put in.
How's that as well? MVP with a career high in the NBL as well. 32 points. That's the most Quat Noi has ever scored. Legendary athlete. We got to witness it.
He's been on fire most of the year. Today was just another game. He was outstanding. Everyone did the shush thing. It was fantastic. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, head to the brewery bar and kitchen post-game to mingle with the players. Enjoy 20% food and drinks. Plus, kids eat free with a paying adult. The brewery bar kitchen is located under the Novotel on the Olympic Boulevard. Only a short walk from here. Terms and conditions apply. And of course, we're going to be back. What a record crowd today. It was fantastic to have you be here and work with you. What a pleasure it was. Eric was on fire. It was fantastic. And we got the win on the Pinks Groups Capital. Fantastic. I love the pink
A
round.
legendary day. Over $28,000 raised. Over 16,000 of you here. And you're all back here on Friday night next week. Ain't that right?
Friday, January 24. Come back. Let's do it again. Let's pack our Kudos Bank Arena. See you Friday, Jan 24. And thank you, Brie, again. It was fantastic. What a
Thank you
legend.
to hear. And thank you, Kings fans. See you next time.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
A massive 11-point win for the Sydney Kings in the context of their season. And the JackJumpers, well, they've kept the door slightly ajar for Adelaide and Brisbane, who are chasing for that playing spot. Quat Noi, the MVP of the game, the sixth man, and according to him, maybe even the most improved.
You heard him.
Yeah, love the confidence. We look at the stats. Listen, it wasn't an elite shooting performance by either team. It was one of those grinded out games. The Sydney Kings, look at the discrepancy from the free throw line. Now that's got a lot more to do with style of play than anything else. And they got there 36 times. They good enough to knock down 29 of them. Quat Noi was fantastic with a 32 career high. But Jalen Adams, you look at his numbers, I think what it was 6 of 19, but he hit some big plays. When they went 3 down, that 3-ball to tie it straight back up, huge play.
Well, I think this is the way Sydney Kings are going to win games. They grind you out, they defend, and then they make plays in the fourth quarter. This is the recipe for success.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a cracking finish here. We've got a big one coming up because, as we said, that loss from the JackJumpers just leaves the door ajar. Which Adelaide 36ers team is going to turn up? Is it the Montrez Kendrick Davis that we know can roll this bottom of the table Cairns Taipans team? Or is that crisis meeting going to need to be adjourned and they'll keep on rolling? The play-in spot up for grabs. Cairns, Adelaide starts now.
Tuesday, most circumstances will take you to walk up to the basketball court and approach number using 5 minutes and get to all thrown objects on the court. Anyone dropping himself will be immediately ejected from the stadium. Please restrict your movement along the